Hello friends, welcome back to our channel. When I just started my career, I was curious to know how can I interface my hardware design inside the FPGA with the host PC. At that point of time, it was a challenge for me and I came to know about UART interface and parallel interface. They're very easy to implement and I started using UART interface and parallel interface to make my design interact with the host PC. And all my designs were implemented inside an FPGA. So UART interface very easy to implement, use few pins and widely supported. But its data rate is very slow, not suitable for large data transfer. Similarly, parallel interface, it is an obsolete interface these days. It is very easy to understand, higher speed than UART, but not much. It's a simple protocol. But again, it is limited to a lesser data rate. But if I have a data which is very huge, I cannot use UART and parallel interface to transfer them. I definitely need high speed protocols. What are those protocols? USB and PCIe are very prevalent these days. So far we understand that if I want to interface my design inside an FPGA with the host PC, the fastest possible options are PCIe interface and USB interface. But now another question arises, what hardware IP do I need to use inside my FPGA to interact with the host PC? And that IP should be able to interact with my other part of the design, and most probably my preference is through AXI interface. And other challenge is whatever IP I use inside an FPGA, its equivalent driver should be available on the shelf. It should be provided by the IP provider. If these two things are met, I need not to worry. I can straightforward put that IP inside an FPGA design and we can use its driver in the host machine. Friends, in this slide I have mentioned which IP you can use for PCI to AXI bridge IP and which IP can be used for USB to AXI bridge IP. I will tell you only those IPs which I have utilized practically. So for PCI interface, you can use PCI to AXI bridge IP from Xilinx, but this IP is an obsolete IP. Instead of that, Xilinx has introduced new IP that is called XDMA IP. This IP you can use in a PCI to AXI bridge mode. And its drivers are readily available. You can download them and start using it. Still little bit hands-on practice is required, but it is not that difficult. As I mentioned, one of its side is PCI, through which it will be connected to host PC, and other side is an AXI interface, which will be connected to an AXI interconnect, and other side of the AXI interconnect will be connected to other AXI IPs. This PCI to AXI bridge IP or XDMA IP will act like an AXI master. Similarly for USB, Xilinx provides one IP that is called USB device controller IP. One of its side will interact with the USB and other side will be an AXI interface. But there is a limitation whatever IP is available today. That IP only supports USB 2.0. That means data rate will be always limited to 480 Mbps. It does not support USB 3.0. So I never used it. Instead of that, I used one IP from Synopsys. This is called USB to AXI bridge IP. In fact, its name is USB UMR to AXI bridge IP. It supports USB 3.0 also. One of its side is USB 3.0 and other side will be AXI, which will be connected to AXI interconnect, and other side of AXI interconnect will be connected to other AXI IPs. And this IP also, USB UMR to AXI bridge IP, will act like an AXI master. So very high data rate we can achieve with this. Friends, similar to USB to AXI bridge IP, Synopsys also provide PCI to AXI bridge IP, which has very high performance. And one important thing, the most important thing, apart from the hardware IPs, its ready-made drivers are available on the shelf. You can start using them. And friends, if you're planning to use these IPs, please let me know. I can share its documentation in the comment section or in the description section. But friends, one very big limitation with Synopsys IPs are they can be only used on Synopsys FPGA platforms. They cannot be used on Xilinx boards or any other FPGA boards which are not coming from Synopsys. So you have to stick with Xilinx IPs also, and they are free to use. I hope that whatever limitations and whatever possibilities are there, I have revealed them to you. So please start using them accordingly. With this, I am going to end this video, friends. I hope that this would be quite informative for all of you. If you also like this video, please press the like button and you can share your feedback in the comment section. And in future also, we are going to create many such videos. So to be aligned with our channel, don't forget to subscribe it and press the bell icon to get the notification of all the upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching and your time.